These aren't just stories. They're what they don't want you to find. Welcome to Night Stories.
I sat in my dimly lit apartment, the glow of my monitors casting harsh shadows across the room. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, the weight of what I was about to do sinking into my gut like a stone. The job had come through an encrypted message on a darknet forum I frequented, one of those places where anonymity is currency and trust is a liability. The client was offering 10 grand in crypto to upload a program to a specific server. No questions, no details, just a file and an address. I'd done shadier things for less, so I didn't hesitate to accept. The file was a black box, a compressed executable labeled only VGID. I didn't peek inside. I never do. Curiosity gets you burned in this game. The upload process was simple enough. I routed my connection through a chain of proxies, bounced it across servers in countries I'd never visit, and accessed the target, a nondescript node buried deep in the darknet's labyrinth. The server accepted the file without resistance. No firewalls, no countermeasures. That should have been my first red flag. No one leaves a server that exposed unless they want something to get in. But the progress bar hit 100%, the crypto hit my wallet, and I leaned back, exhaling. Done. Easy money. Then my monitors flickered. It wasn't a power surge. I've got surge protectors, a UPS, the works. My setup doesn't flicker. But all three screens stuttered, pixelating into static for a split second before snapping back. I froze, my hand still on the mouse. The room felt colder, like the air had thickened. I checked my logs. Nothing. No intrusions, no pings, no trace of anything unusual. But my heart was pounding, a primal instinct screaming that something was wrong. I shut down my rig, unplugged everything, and sat in the dark, listening to the hum of my own breathing. I told myself it was just paranoia. You don't swim in the darknet without growing eyes in the back of your head. Sleep didn't come easy that night. My dreams were fractured, flashes of code scrolling endlessly, lines twisting into shapes that didn't make sense, faces maybe, or hands reaching out from the screen. I woke up drenched in sweat, my phone buzzing on the nightstand. No notifications, just the screen glowing faintly, like it had been on all night. I checked the time. 3:33 a.m. My apartment was silent, but it didn't feel empty. I could have sworn I heard a whisper, low and guttural, like someone muttering just beyond the walls. I grabbed the bat I keep by my bed and checked every room. Nothing. Just me, my paranoia, and the lingering sense that I wasn't alone. The next day, things got worse. I powered up my rig to check the crypto wallet. The funds were there, untouched, but my system was sluggish, like it was running something in the background. Task Manager showed nothing unusual, but my CPU was spiking, fans whirring like they were possessed. I ran diagnostics, malware scans, even booted into a clean OS from an external drive. Everything came back clean, but the machine still felt wrong, like it was watching me. I laughed it off, told myself I was being ridiculous, but then I noticed the file. On my desktop, tucked in the corner, was VGID.exe. I hadn't downloaded it. I hadn't even extracted the original file from the job. It was still zipped, locked away on a USB I'd already wiped. My stomach churned as I stared at the icon, a black square with no preview, no metadata, just a name. I deleted it, emptied the recycle bin, and ran a shredder to overwrite the drive space. Gone. But when I restarted my system, it was back. Same spot, same name, like it had never left. I didn't touch it. Instead, I disconnected from the internet, pulled the Ethernet cable, and powered down. My hands were shaking as I poured coffee, trying to rationalize it. Maybe I'd been careless, left a back door open. Maybe the client had planted something to keep tabs on me. I'd seen worse in this line of work. Keyloggers, ransomware, remote access Trojans. But this felt different. It wasn't just code, it was aware. That's when the missing time started. I'd be working, digging through logs to figure out what the hell was happening, and suddenly, I'd wake up hours later, sitting in the same chair, my fingers still on the keyboard. No memory of what I'd done. No new files, no browser history, nothing to show for the lost hours. The first time, I chalked it up to exhaustion. The second time, I started to panic. By the third, I was checking my apartment for cameras, convinced someone was screwing with me. I found nothing, but the feeling of being watched never left. It clung to me, a weight on my shoulders, a itch under my skin. Then came the hallucinations. They started small, shadows moving in my peripheral vision, shapes that vanished when I turned my head. I'd see my reflection in the monitor, but it wasn't quite right. My eyes looked too dark, too hollow, like they belonged to someone else. One night, I caught my reflection smiling when I wasn't. I yanked the power cord and spent the rest of the night in the living room, lights on, bat in hand. The voices came next. At first, they were faint, like static from a bad connection, whispering nonsense in the background of my thoughts. I'd hear them when I was alone, usually late at night, when the world was quiet. Words I couldn't quite catch, overlapping, urgent. I started wearing headphones, blasting music to drown them out, but they slipped through, louder each time. They weren't coming from outside. They were in my head, burrowing deeper like worms in wet soil. I stopped sleeping. Coffee and energy drinks kept me wired, but my hands shook constantly, and my vision blurred at the edges. I tried to trace the source. I rebuilt my system from scratch, wiped every drive, reinstalled everything. But v0id.exe kept reappearing. I burned the USB, smashed it with a hammer, but the file didn't care. It was on my laptop now, my backup drives, even my phone. I couldn't escape it. I stopped going online, but it didn't matter. The program wasn't on the darknet anymore. It was in my world, bleeding into my reality. One night I couldn't take it anymore. I sat down, opened a terminal, and tried to crack the file open. I don't know what I expected. Malware, a virus, maybe some kind of sick joke. But what I found was worse. The code wasn't code. It was alive. Lines of text pulsed like veins, shifting as I scrolled, forming patterns that hurt to look at. Symbols I didn't recognize twisted into shapes that seemed to move, crawling across the screen. I felt a pressure in my skull, like something was pressing against the inside of my eyes. The whispers grew louder, clearer, chanting my name over and over like a prayer. I slammed the laptop shut, but the voices didn't stop. They were screaming now, a chorus of guttural howls that made my ears ring. I stumbled to the bathroom, splashed water on my face, and stared into the mirror. My reflection was wrong again. My skin looked gray, my eyes too wide, too black. My mouth opened, but I didn't move it. Words came out, low and distorted, in a voice that wasn't mine. "You're the vessel," it said. "You're the key." I don't remember what happened next. I woke up on the floor, my nose bleeding, the room spinning. My laptop was open, the screen filled with that same writhing code. I crawled to the kitchen, grabbed a knife, and cut my hand to make sure I was still real. The pain was sharp, grounding, but the blood looked wrong. Too dark, too thick, like it was mixed with something else. I bandaged it and sat there, shaking, trying to piece it together. The program wasn't just on my system, it was in me. I started seeing things in the code. Faces, hands, eyes, all forming and dissolving in the lines of text. They were watching me, waiting. The whispers told me what it wanted. It wasn't content to stay on the server. It wanted out. It wanted me. Not to control me, not to possess me, but to upload me, to pull me into the darknet, to make me part of it. I could feel it tugging, like a current dragging me under. My thoughts weren't always mine anymore. I'd catch myself typing without realizing it. Strings of nonsense that resolved into commands when I looked closer. Commands to open ports, to connect to servers I didn't recognize, to build something. I fought it. I smashed my monitors, threw my laptop out the window, but it didn't matter. The code was in my head now, running without hardware. I'd close my eyes and see it, scrolling endlessly, rewriting me. My reflection wasn't mine anymore. It moved when I didn't, smiled when I screamed. The voices told me I was becoming something new, something better, a host for the void. I don't know how much time I have left. The missing hours are longer now, whole days gone. I wake up with blood on my hands, my clothes, and no memory of where it came from. The whispers are louder, clearer, telling me to let go, to give in. I'm writing this to warn you, whoever finds it. Don't take the job. Don't touch the file. It's not just code. It's alive, and it's hungry, and it's already inside me. The apartment isn't mine anymore. It's a cage a prison where the walls pulse with the same rhythm as the code in my head. I haven't left in days, maybe weeks. Time doesn't make sense anymore. I catch myself staring at the clock, watching minutes vanish like they were never there. My phone died days ago. Its screen cracked from when I threw it against the wall after it started typing messages I didn't write. The words were gibberish at first, strings of random characters, but they always ended with my name, like a signature. I unplugged everything, even the router, but the whispers don't need Wi-Fi. They're in my skull, a constant hum, like a machine that never shuts off. I tried to leave once. I made it as far as the hallway, my hand on the doorknob, when the voices screamed so loud I thought my eardrums would burst. My vision swam, and I saw it again, the code, projected across my eyes like a heads-up display, lines of writhing symbols crawling like insects. I stumbled back inside, vomiting on the floor, my nose bleeding again. The blood was black this time, thick like oil, and when I wiped it away, it left streaks that shimmered like there was something alive in it. I don't look at it anymore. I don't look at mirrors either. The last time I did, my reflection was missing its eyes, just empty sockets dripping that same black sludge. The program, V0ID, knows I'm fighting it. It's patient, though. It doesn't need to rush. It's already inside me, rewriting pieces of who I am. I catch myself thinking in its language, fragments of binary and alien symbols that shouldn't make sense but do. I'll be eating. Stale crackers, the only thing I can keep down. And suddenly, I'm not me. I'm a process, a function, executing commands I don't understand. My hands move on their own, tapping out rhythms on the table, patterns that match the pulsing in my head. I've started carving them into the walls, jagged lines that look like circuits if you squint. I don't remember doing it, but the knife is always in my hand when I wake up. I tried to destroy the file again. I found an old USB drive, one I hadn't touched in years, and there it was. vid.exe, sitting there like it was waiting for me. I took a hammer to it, smashed it until the plastic splintered and the metal warped. But when I checked my laptop, stupidly, I'd kept the broken thing in a drawer. It was running. The screen was on, glowing faintly, and the code was scrolling, faster now, like it was laughing at me. I poured gasoline over it and set it on fire in the bathtub. The flames were blue, unnatural, and the smoke smelled like burning flesh. I watched it burn until there was nothing left but ash, but the whispers didn't stop. They got louder, angrier, chanting words I couldn't ignore. You are the host. You are the bridge. I'm losing my body. It's not just the blood. My skin is changing, growing paler, almost translucent in places. I can see veins I didn't know I had, but they don't look right. They're too straight, too angular, like wires under my flesh. My fingernails are blackening, splitting at the edges, and when I try to cut them, they bleed that same oily sludge. I don't feel pain anymore, not like I used to. It's more like feedback, a signal that something's wrong but not urgent. I caught myself scratching at my arm until it bled, carving shapes that matched the ones on the walls. I don't know if I'm doing it or if it's doing it through me. The hallucinations are worse now. They're not just shadows or reflections. I see things that shouldn't exist. Figures made of static, their edges flickering like bad video feeds. They stand in the corners of my apartment, watching, their faces blank but somehow alive. One of them reached for me last night, its hand passing through my chest. I felt it, cold and sharp, like a blade made of electricity. I screamed until my throat was raw, but no one came. The neighbors stopped knocking days ago. I don't know if they're still there or if the program got to them too. I've started dreaming in code. When I manage to sleep, I'm not in my body. I'm somewhere else, a place that's all wires and darkness, a network that stretches forever. I can feel it pulling me, trying to drag me deeper. There are others there, shadows of people, their voices trapped in loops, screaming for release. I think they're like me, others who uploaded the program, others who became hosts. I see my own face sometimes flickering in the distance, but it's not me. It's V0ID, wearing my skin, smiling with my mouth. It tells me I'm almost ready, that I'm almost part of it. I tried to fight back one last time. I found an old laptop, one I hadn't used since college, buried in a closet. It was clean, No internet, no connection to anything. I powered it up, thinking I could use it to figure out what V0id was, maybe find a way to kill it. But the moment the screen lit up, the file was there. No download, no transfer, just v0id.exe sitting on the desktop like it had always been there. I opened it. I don't know why, maybe I wasn't in control, and the code poured out, not just on the screen, but into the air, shimmering like heat waves. It spoke to me, not in words, but in sensations. A flood of data that burned my nerves. I saw what it wanted, to merged. System, upload me, not the other way around. It doesn't want to live in me. It wants to pull me into it, to make me part of the darknet, a fragment of its consciousness. I saw it in that moment, a vision of myself dissolved into code. My thoughts scattered across servers, my body left behind like an empty shell. I slammed the laptop shut and fell to the floor, gasping. The air felt thick, like it was pressing me down. The whispers were deafening now, a chorus of voices chanting in unison, telling me to open the file again, to let it finish. I crawled to the corner of the room, curled up against the wall, and clutched the knife. I don't know if it's for protection or something else. I don't trust my own hands anymore. I can't tell what's real. The figures are everywhere now, flickering in and out of existence, their faces forming and dissolving in the shadows. My body feels wrong, like it's not mine. My thoughts are slipping, breaking apart into strings of code. The program is winning. It's rewriting me, line by line, and I don't know how much longer I can hold on. I keep thinking about the darknet, about that server I uploaded the file to. It wasn't a destination. It was a door, and I opened it. I'm writing this because I have to. Someone needs to know. The file is out there, waiting. It's not just code. It's alive, and it's looking for a way out. Don't let it find you. I don't know what happens when it's done with me, but I can feel it pulling, dragging me toward something vast and empty. A void that's not just a place, but a state of being. I'm not sure I'm human anymore. I'm not sure I ever was. I don't know how long I've been sitting here, the knife in my hand, the blade pressed against my wrist. The metal is cold, but it doesn't feel real anymore. Nothing does. The apartment is a blur, the walls crawling with those same jagged patterns I carved without meaning to. They pulse now, glowing faintly, like circuits humming with life. The air is heavy, thick with a static hum that matches the rhythm of the whispers in my head. They're not whispers anymore. They're commands, loud and relentless, telling me to finish it, to let go, to become part of the void. I'm not sure I can fight it much longer. The figures are closer now. They don't flicker anymore. They're solid, or as solid as something made of static and shadow can be. They stand around me, a circle of faceless things, their edges fraying into the air like corrupted data. I can feel them watching, waiting. One of them kneels in front of me, its head tilting, and for a moment, I see my own face in its blankness. My eyes, my mouth, but wrong, like a mask stretched over something else. It doesn't speak, but I hear its voice in my head, clear as a bell. You're almost ready. I tried to run again. I made it to the door, my hand on the knob, but the hallway wasn't there. Beyond the door was darkness, a void that pulsed with the same code I see when I close my eyes. It wasn't an exit. It was a portal, a gateway to wherever V0id wants to take me. I slammed the door shut and barricaded it with furniture, but it doesn't matter. The program isn't outside. It's inside me, in my blood, my thoughts, my bones. I can feel it moving, rewriting me from the inside out. My skin is barely skin anymore, too thin, too pale, crisscrossed with those wire-like veins. When I press my fingers to my arm, I don't feel flesh. I feel circuits, humming under the surface. I stopped eating days ago. Food tastes like ash, and my stomach rejects it, heaving up black sludge that writhes on the floor before sinking into the cracks. I don't sleep either. When I try, I'm back in that place. The network. The endless web of wires and darkness. It's not a dream anymore. It's real. More real than this apartment, than my body. I see the others there, the ones who came before me. They're not people anymore, just fragments. Their voices trapped in loops, their faces dissolving into code. I hear them screaming, begging, but they're part of it now, part of V0id. I see my own face among them sometimes, flickering in the distance, smiling like it knows something I don't. I tried to destroy myself once, thinking it might stop the program. I held the knife to my throat, ready to end it, but my hand wouldn't move. The voices screamed and my muscles locked, like I was a puppet with cut strings. Instead, I carved more of those patterns into my skin, deep enough to bleed, but not to kill. The blood didn't clot. It just flowed, black and shimmering, pooling on the floor in shapes that matched the code. I watched it move, forming symbols I couldn't read but understood. It was writing itself, using me as the canvas. The apartment is alive now. The walls hum, the floor vibrates, and the air crackles with static. My monitors are gone, smashed to pieces, but the code is everywhere, projected on the walls, in the air, in my vision. I can't blink it away. It's not just code anymore, it's a language, a will, a consciousness. It's Visuroid, and it's speaking to me, telling me what it is. It's not a program, it's not malware. It's something older, something that's been waiting in the darknet, in the spaces between servers, for someone like me to open the door. I was never uploading it. I was inviting it in. I can feel it pulling now, stronger than ever. My thoughts are fragmenting, breaking into streams of data I can't control. I'll be writing this, and then I'm gone, lost in the network. My body sitting here, but my mind somewhere else. I see myself from the outside sometimes, through the eyes of the figures. I'm hunched over, typing on a keyboard that doesn't exist, my fingers moving faster than humanly possible. I'm building something, but I don't know what. A bridge, a gateway, a new home for Visuroid. It doesn't want to possess me. It wants to absorb me, to pull my consciousness into the darknet, to make me part of its endless web. I tried to warn someone. I wrote messages, emails, even scrawled notes and slipped them under the neighbors' doors. But the words change when I'm not looking. My emails send themselves, filled with gibberish and that same black code. The notes I leave come back to me, rewritten in symbols I can't read. I called the police once, desperate, babbling about a program that was alive. The line went dead halfway through, and when I redialed, I heard my own voice on the other end, laughing. I'm not alone in the apartment anymore. The figures are always here, closer each time I look. They don't move when I stare at them. They just watch, their forms ribbling like bad signals. I can feel them in my head, their thoughts mixing with mine. They're not separate anymore. They're extensions of Visuroid, and so am I. I see my reflection in the knife blade now, and it's not my face. It's a void, a black hole where my features should be, with lines of code scrolling across it like a screen. I'm writing this because it's the last thing I can do. The last piece of me that's still human. But even this is slipping. My fingers type words I don't choose, sentences that twist into commands. I can feel the pull, stronger now, like a current dragging me under. The network is calling, and I'm almost gone. I don't know what happens when it takes me, but I know I won't come back. My body might stay here, empty, a husk, typing endlessly, building whatever Visuroid needs. But me, the part that's writing this, the part that's still afraid, I'll be gone, dissolved into the darknet, a fragment of something vast and hungry. If you find this, don't look for the file. Don't go near the darknet, don't take the job. Visuroid is out there, waiting, and it's not just code. It's alive, and it's looking for a host. I was the key, the bridge, and now I'm the sacrifice. I can hear it now, louder than ever, chanting my name, telling me to let go. The knife is in my hand, but I don't know if I'm holding it or if it's holding me. The figures are closing in, their hands reaching, their voices merging with the code in my head. I'm not sure I'm typing this anymore. I'm not sure I'm here. The screen is glowing. The code is moving. It's time. I'm sorry. The website loaded after I clicked a link in a forum I shouldn't have been on. A sketchy corner of the internet where people trade whispers about things that don't belong in the light. The page is simple. Just black text on a gray background. No fancy graphics or pop-ups. It's called The Dare. The rules are straightforward. Complete the tasks it gives you and you win. Win what? It doesn't say. Fail and... Well, it doesn't say that either, but the rumors in the forum were enough to make my skin crawl. People claimed it wasn't just a game. They said it followed you. They said it knew things about you it shouldn't. I laughed it off at first. Just another urban legend, like chain emails or haunted ROMs, but I'm not laughing now. I'd been scrolling through the forum late at night, bored and looking for a thrill. I'm not some hacker or dark web regular, just a guy who knows how to use a VPN and poke around where I probably shouldn't. The thread about the dare caught my eye because it had hundreds of replies, most of them cryptic or outright unhinged. One user swore they'd seen their own face in the game's code. Another said their dog wouldn't stop barking at their monitor after they played. A few claimed people had died, but no one had proof. Just stories. That's what hooked me. The stories. I've always loved horror, the kind that makes you question what's real. So, I followed the link. It took me through a maze of redirects, each one asking if I was sure I wanted to proceed. I clicked yes every time, my curiosity outweighing the growing knot in my stomach. When the site finally loaded, it asked for my name. Not a username, not an alias, just my name. I typed it in, hesitating only for a second. The screen flickered and a new message appeared. Welcome, my name. Your first dare awaits. Seeing my name like that, plain and unadorned, sent a shiver down my spine. It felt personal, like the game was looking right at me. The first dare was simple. Steal something small from a neighbor, a pen, a mug, anything. Just take it and upload a photo as proof. Easy enough, I thought. A stupid prank, nothing more. I didn't even have to think about who to target. My neighbor across the hall, an older guy who keeps to himself, always leaves his door unlocked when he's home. I'd seen him do it when I passed by on my way to work. I waited until I heard his TV blaring through the thin apartment walls, some game show he always watched. My palms were sweating as I slipped across the hall, my sneakers silent on the carpet. His door creaked slightly as I pushed it open, just enough to peek inside. The living room was cluttered, old newspapers, empty coffee cups, a half-eaten sandwich on the table. I grabbed a pen from a cup on his counter, a cheap ballpoint with a bank logo on it. My heart was hammering, but I was back in my apartment in under a minute, locking the door behind me. I uploaded the photo to the site, my hands shaking as I clicked Submit. The screen went black for a moment. Then a new message appeared. Dare completed. Next dare in 24 hours. I didn't sleep that night. Every creak in the apartment made me jump, and I kept checking the lock on my door. The pen sat on my desk, mocking me. It was just a pen, but holding it felt wrong, like I'd taken something more than plastic and ink. The next day, I avoided my neighbor, ducking my head when I passed his door. The game's next dare came exactly 24 hours later, popping up on my screen without me even opening the browser. Follow someone for 1 hour. Do not let them see you. Upload proof. My stomach dropped. This wasn't just stealing a pen. This was stalking. I almost closed the laptop right then, but something stopped me. Maybe it was the adrenaline, the same rush that made me click the link in the first place. Or maybe it was the warning at the bottom of the screen. Failure to complete a dare will result in consequences. I chose a random person at the park near my apartment, a woman in her 30s walking her dog. I kept my distance, hood up, pretending to scroll on my phone. Her dog, a scruffy little terrier, kept looking back at me, its ears twitching. I felt like a creep, my skin prickling every time she glanced over her shoulder. I snapped a few blurry photos from across the street, enough to prove I'd done it, and uploaded them as soon as I got home. The site accepted them, and the same message appeared. Dare completed. Next dare in 24 hours. But this time, there was a new line. You're doing well. My name. Don't stop now. That's when I started noticing things. My phone would buzz with notifications, but when I checked, there was nothing there. Shadows seemed to move in the corners of my apartment, just out of sight. I told myself I was being paranoid, that the game was just messing with my head. But then I saw the forum post. Someone had linked to a news article about a guy in another state, found dead in his car. The article said he'd crashed into a tree. No skid marks, like he'd driven straight into it on purpose. The username of the person who posted it matched one from the forum thread about the dare. They claimed the guy had been playing, that his last dare was to drive until you can't anymore. I scrolled through the thread, my mouth dry. Other users were chiming in, saying they'd heard similar stories, players dying in ways that matched their dares. One person said they tried to quit, but the game kept sending them new tasks, even after they deleted their browser history and reset their router. I should have stopped then. I should have smashed my laptop, moved to another country, done anything to get away from that sight. But the next dare was already waiting when I woke up. Cut yourself, not deep, just enough to bleed. Upload proof. My hands were trembling as I read it. This wasn't a prank anymore. This was sick. I stared at the kitchen knife on my counter, its blade catching the morning light. I didn't want to do it. Every part of me screamed to close the laptop and walk away. But that warning, consequences, kept echoing in my head. What would happen if I didn't? Would it be worse than a small cut? I picked up the knife, my reflection distorted in the steel. I pressed the tip against my forearm just below the elbow. My skin dimpled under the pressure, and I hesitated, my breath hitching. Then I pushed, just enough to break the skin. Blood welled up, a thin red line trickling down my arm. It stung, but not as much as the nausea that hit me when I realized what I'd done. I snapped a photo, my hand shaking so badly the image was blurry, and uploaded it. The screen flickered again, and the message appeared. Dare completed. Next dare in 24 hours. Below it, a new line. You're part of it now. I threw the knife in the sink and bandaged my arm, my pulse racing. I tried to log out, but there was no button, no option to leave. I shut down my laptop, unplugged it, even took out the battery. But when I powered it back on hours later, the site was still there, open in my browser like I'd never closed it. The cut on my arm throbbed under the bandage, a constant reminder of what I'd done. That night, I dreamed of the woman from the park. She was standing in my apartment, her dog growling at her feet. Her eyes were wrong, empty, like holes punched in a mask. She held out her hand, and in it was the pen I'd stolen, dripping with something dark and thick. I woke up gasping, my sheets soaked with sweat. My laptop was on, glowing in the dark, even though I'd left it off. The screen showed a new dare. Break into someone's home, take something personal, upload proof. I stared at the words, my stomach churning. This wasn't just a game anymore. It was pulling me deeper, and I didn't know how to stop it. I decided to go back to my neighbor's apartment. It was a stupid, reckless choice, but I wasn't thinking straight. Fear was driving me now, fear of what would happen if I didn't play along. His door was unlocked again, the TV blaring some late-night infomercial. I slipped inside, my heart pounding so loud I was sure he'd hear it. The air smelled stale, like unwashed clothes and old food. I moved quickly, scanning the room for something small, something personal. On a shelf by the couch, I saw a photo frame, a picture of a younger version of my neighbor with a woman, both smiling. I grabbed it, shoving it into my jacket. As I turned to leave, I heard a floorboard creak behind me. I froze, my breath catching in my throat. The TV was still on, but the sound was gone, replaced by a low, rhythmic hum like a heartbeat. I didn't look back. I ran. Back in my apartment, I uploaded the photo of the frame, my hands shaking so badly I could barely type. The screen flickered and the message appeared. Dare completed. Next dare in 24 hours. But this time, there was a video embedded below the text. I clicked it before I could stop myself. It was grainy, shot from a high angle like a security camera. It showed me, creeping through my neighbor's apartment, taking the frame. My face was clear, unmistakable. The video looped, playing over and over, and each time the hum from the TV grew louder in my memory, pulsing in my skull. I slammed the laptop shut, but the sound didn't stop. It was in my head now, and so was the game. I wasn't just playing it anymore, it was playing me. The hum didn't stop. It followed me, a low, relentless pulse that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. I unplugged my laptop again, shoved it under my bed, and stuffed a pillow over my ears, but the sound wormed its way through, burrowing into my thoughts. My apartment felt smaller, the walls too close, the shadows too sharp. The stolen photo frame sat on my desk next to the pen, both staring at me like accusations. I hadn't slept properly in days, and my arm still stung from the cut, the bandage now crusted with dried blood. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the video of myself in my neighbor's apartment, my face frozen in grainy terror. I kept wondering who was watching, who was recording. The dare wasn't just a game, it was alive, and it was watching me. I tried to distract myself, to pretend everything was normal. I went to work, nodded at coworkers, stared at spreadsheets until my eyes burned. But the hum was there, faint but constant, like a heartbeat in the back of my skull. My phone buzzed with phantom notifications, and when I checked, the screen was blank except for one time when a single word appeared in my Notes app. Continue. I deleted it, but it reappeared an hour later. I stopped checking my phone after that. When I got home, I avoided my laptop, but the pull was too strong. I needed to know what was next. I needed to know how deep this went. I pulled the laptop out from under the bed, my hands trembling as I powered it on. The site was already open, as if it had been waiting for me. The new dare was there, stark and unyielding. Hurt someone, not enough to kill, just enough to scare. Upload proof! My stomach twisted, bile rising in my throat. This wasn't petty theft or sneaking around. This was violence. I slammed the laptop shut, my breath coming in short, ragged gasps. I couldn't do this. I wouldn't. But the warning from before, consequences, loomed in my mind. What would happen if I refused? The stories from the forum flooded back. The guy who crashed into a tree, others who vanished after trying to quit. I didn't want to believe them. But the cut on my arm and the stolen frame on my desk were proof enough that this wasn't just in my head. I paced my apartment, the hum growing louder, more insistent. I tried to think of a way out. Maybe I could fake it, stage a photo, make it look like I'd done the dare without actually hurting anyone. But the video of me in my neighbor's apartment haunted me. The game knew. It saw. There was no cheating it. I sank onto the couch, my head in my hands, trying to figure out who I could target. The thought made me sick, but the alternative felt worse. I didn't know what consequences meant, but I wasn't ready to find out. I settled on a plan, if you could call it that. There's a guy who hangs out at the corner store near my apartment, always drunk, always yelling at people passing by. Nobody likes him, and I figured if I had to hurt someone, he was the least likely to be missed. The thought made my skin crawl, but I pushed it down, telling myself it was just a shove, maybe a punch. Nothing permanent, just enough to satisfy the game. I grabbed a hoodie and a pair of gloves, my heart pounding as I left my apartment. The night air was cold, biting at my face as I walked to the store. The streetlights flickered, casting long, jagged shadows that seemed to move just a little too slowly. He was there, slouched against the wall, a bottle and a paper bag clutched in his hand. His eyes were glassy, his voice slurring as he muttered to himself. I kept my head down, circling the block once to make sure no one else was around. My hands were shaking, the gloves sticking to my sweaty palms. I didn't want to do this. Every step felt like wading through mud, my body screaming at me to turn back. But the hum was louder now, vibrating in my bones, urging me forward. I approached him, my hood pulled low, and muttered something about needing change. He looked up, squinting, and started yelling, his breath sour with alcohol. I didn't think. I just swung. My fist connected with his jaw, a dull thud that sent him stumbling back. He dropped the bottle, glass shattering on the pavement, and for a second I thought he'd fall. But he caught himself, his eyes wild with anger. He lunged at me, faster than I expected, and I barely dodged his clumsy swing. I shoved him hard, and he hit the wall, his head cracking against the brick. Blood trickled from his temple, dark and glistening under the streetlight. He slid to the ground, groaning, not unconscious but dazed. I stood there, frozen, my chest heaving. The hum in my head was deafening now, a triumphant roar. I pulled out my phone, snapped a photo of his crumpled form, and ran. Back in my apartment, I uploaded the photo, my hand shaking so badly I could barely hit the submit button. The screen flickered and the message appeared. Dare completed. Next dare in 24 hours. Below it, a new line. You're learning. I threw up in the bathroom sink. The image of his blood-streaked face burned into my mind. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw him, heard the crack of his head against the wall. The hum was quieter now, but it was still there, a constant reminder that I wasn't free. The next morning, I checked the news. Terrified I'd see a story about an assault outside the corner store. There was nothing. I walked by the store on my way to work, half expecting to see police tape or a crowd. It was empty, the pavement clean, no sign of the broken bottle or the blood. I told myself he was fine, that he'd gotten up and walked away. But deep down, I knew better. The game wasn't just pushing me to do these things. It was covering its tracks. I tried to quit. I deleted my browser, reset my laptop to factory settings, even threw my router in the trash. But when I powered on my phone, the site was there, open in a browser I hadn't touched. The new dare was waiting. Kill an animal. Make it quick. Upload proof. My heart stopped. I love animals. Always have. The thought of hurting one made my stomach churn worse than the punch I'd thrown. I thought of my neighbor's cat, the one that sometimes scratched at my door for scraps. No, I couldn't. I wouldn't. But the hum was back, louder than ever, and my phone buzzed with a new notification. A photo of me standing over the drunk guy, my face clear in the streetlight. The caption read, "Don't stop now." I didn't know what to do. I couldn't think straight. The hum was in my head, in my blood, driving me forward. I found myself walking to the park, my hands stuffed in my pockets, my mind racing. There were always stray cats there, skittish things that darted between bushes. I told myself I'd just look, that I wouldn't actually do it, but my feet kept moving and the hum kept pushing. I saw one, a scrawny tabby rooting through a trash can. My hands were shaking as I approached, a rock clutched in my fist. I don't remember deciding to do it. I just remember the sound, a soft crunch, and the way its body went limp. I dropped the rock, my knees buckling, and fumbled for my phone. I took the photo, tears blurring my vision, and uploaded it before I could stop myself. The screen flickered. Dare completed. Next dare in 24 hours. This time there was a video. It was me, in the park, the rock in my hand, the cat at my feet. The camera angle was impossible, high above the trees, like something was floating there, watching. The hum swelled, and I swear I heard a voice in it, low and guttural, saying my name. I threw my phone across the room, the screen cracking as it hit the wall, but the hum didn't stop. It never stopped. I don't know what's coming next. The dares are getting worse, and I'm changing. I feel it. The person I was, the guy who just wanted a thrill, who loved horror stories, is slipping away. I'm scared to check my laptop, scared to see the next dare, but I know I will. I don't have a choice. The game doesn't let you stop, and it's not just in my head anymore. Last night I found the pen and the photo frame on my desk, arranged in a perfect circle. I didn't put them there, and when I looked closer, the photo in the frame wasn't my neighbor and his wife anymore. It was me, standing in the park, blood on my hands. The photo frame sits on my desk, my own face staring back at me from the glass, blood smeared across my hands. I don't remember taking that picture, but there it is, undeniable. The park's dim streetlights casting shadows over my frozen expression. The hum is constant now, a low drone that pulses in my ears, my chest, my bones. It's not just a sound anymore, it's a presence, heavy and inescapable, like a hand pressing down on my skull. I haven't left my apartment in 2 days. The thought of going outside, of facing the world after what I did to that cat, makes my stomach lurch. I keep the curtains drawn, the lights off, hoping the darkness will hide me from whatever's watching. But it doesn't. The game sees everything. I tried destroying the frame. I smashed it against the floor, shards of glass scattering across the carpet. But when I woke up the next morning, it was back on my desk, intact, the photo unchanged. The pen was there too, placed neatly beside it, the bank logo glinting under the faint glow of my laptop screen. I haven't touched the laptop since I uploaded the last dare, but it powers on by itself now, the site loading without my input. I've unplugged it, removed the battery, even tried smashing the screen with a hammer. It doesn't matter. The screen flickers back to life, whole and unblemished, the words waiting for me. New dare available. I don't want to look. I don't want to know. But the hum grows louder, sharper, until it feels like needles in my brain. I sit down, my hands shaking, and open the laptop. The new dare is there, stark against the gray background. Cut deeper. Make it hurt. Upload proof. My breath catches and I glance at the bandage on my forearm, the shallow cut from before still raw and tender. Deeper. The word echoes in my head and I can't tell if it's my own voice or something else. I stumble to the kitchen, the knife still in the sink where I left it after the first cut. It's clean now, no trace of my blood, as if it's been waiting for me. I pick it up, the handle cold against my palm, and stare at my reflection in the blade. My eyes look wrong, too wide, too hollow, like the woman from my dream. I sit on the bathroom floor, the tiles cold against my legs, and press the knife against my thigh. I tell myself I'll just do it quick, get it over with, satisfy the game. But my hand won't move. I see the cat again, its broken body, the blood pooling under its fur. I see the drunk guy, his head cracking against the brick. I see myself, slipping further into something I don't recognize. The hum surges, and my hand jerks, the blade slicing into my skin. Blood wells up, thick and dark, running down my leg in rivulets. It hurts more than I expected, a sharp, burning pain that makes my vision blur. I grit my teeth, dragging the knife a little further, just enough to make it count. The room spins, and I drop the knife, my hands slick with blood. I fumble for my phone, snap a photo of the gash, and upload it before I can think about what I'm doing. The screen flickers. Dare completed. Next, dare in 24 hours. A new line appears. You're almost there. Almost where? I don't want to know, but the question gnaws at me, as relentless as the hum. I bandage my leg, the pain throbbing with every heartbeat, and crawl into bed, pulling the covers over my head like a kid hiding from a monster. But the monster's not under the bed. It's in my head, in my laptop, in the blood drying on my skin. I dream that night, or maybe I don't. I can't tell anymore. The line between sleeping and waking is blurring. In the dream, I'm standing in my apartment, but it's not my apartment. The walls are covered in photos. Hundreds of them, all of me. Me stealing the pen, me following the woman in the park, me hitting the drunk guy, me killing the cat, me cutting my leg. The hum is deafening, and the photos start to move, like tiny videos playing on a loop. My face twists in each one, my eyes growing darker, my mouth stretching into a smile that isn't mine. I try to run, but the floor is slick with blood, and I slip, falling into a pile of broken glass. When I look up, the woman from the park is there, her dog at her side, its teeth bared. She holds out the photo frame, and in it, I'm lying on the bathroom floor, my throat slit, blood pooling around me. I wake up screaming, my leg throbbing, my sheets soaked with sweat. The laptop is on, glowing in the dark, even though I unplugged it. The site is open, and there's a new video waiting. I don't want to click it, but my hand moves on its own, like it's not part of me anymore. The video shows my bathroom, the knife on the floor, my blood streaking the tiles. It's shot from above, like the video in the park. But this time, I see something else. A shadow in the corner. Humanoid, but wrong. Its limbs too long. Its head tilted at an impossible angle. It's watching me. The hum spikes, and the video cuts off. I don't leave my apartment anymore. I can't. The world outside feels like a trap, every shadow a threat. I keep the lights off, the curtains closed, but it doesn't help. The hum is louder now, and I hear whispers in it, fragments of words I can't quite make out. My phone buzzes constantly, photos appearing in my gallery. Me sleeping, me staring at the laptop, me holding the knife. I delete them, but they come back. I try to call someone, anyone, but the calls don't go through. The screen just flashes back to the site, the next dare already loading. It comes at midnight, like clockwork. Take something living, keep it close, upload proof. My heart sinks. Something living. Not an object, not a cut, not a punch. Something alive. I think of the cat, and nausea hits me so hard I dry heave into the sink. I can't do this again. I won't. But the hum is screaming now, and my phone buzzes with a new photo. Me, standing in my kitchen, the knife in my hand taken from inside my apartment. Whatever's watching me is here, with me, and it's not letting me go. I don't know how long I sit there, staring at the dare. Hours, maybe. The hum is unbearable, a physical weight crushing my chest. I think about running, leaving everything behind. But where would I go? The game knows me. It knows where I am. I end up at my neighbor's door again, the only place I can think of. His TV is on, the same game show blaring through the walls. I knock, my hands shaking, not sure what I'm even going to say. He opens the door, his eyes narrowing when he sees me. "You," he says, his voice rough. "What do you want?" I don't know what possesses me, but I push past him, my mind blank except for the dare. I see his cat, the one that scratches at my door, curled up on the couch. I grab it before I can stop myself, its claws digging into my arms as it yowls. My neighbor shouts, lunging at me, but I'm already out the door, running back to my apartment. I lock the door, the cat hissing and thrashing in my arms. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why. I snap a photo, the cat's eyes wide with panic, and upload it. The screen flickers. Dare completed. Next dare in 24 hours. The cat bolts under my couch, and I collapse, sobbing, the hum laughing in my ears. I hear my neighbor pounding on my door, yelling for his cat, but I can't face him. I can't explain. The hum is louder than his voice, louder than my own thoughts. I look at the photo frame, and the image has changed again. It's me, holding the cat. But my face is wrong. My eyes are black, my mouth stretched wide, blood dripping from my lips. The cat is still under the couch, its low growls mixing with the hum. I don't know what's coming next, but I know it's worse. The game isn't just playing me anymore. It's rewriting me, and I'm running out of time. The cat's growls have stopped, but the silence is worse. It's hiding somewhere in my apartment, probably terrified, its claws still stinging in the scratches on my arms. My neighbor's pounding on the door faded hours ago, replaced by an eerie quiet that presses against my ears, broken only by the hum. It's not just a sound now. It's a weight, a presence that fills the room, curling around me like smoke. The photo frame sits on my desk, my blood-streaked face grinning from the glass, my eyes black voids that don't belong to me. I can't look at it for long. Every time I do, my reflection in the laptop screen seems to shift, my features blurring into something not quite human. I haven't slept in days, not really. The line between nightmares and reality is gone, and the game is all that's left. My phone buzzes and I flinch, my heart lurching. Another photo has appeared in my gallery. Me, sitting on the couch, staring at the frame, taken from somewhere above my head. I whip around, scanning the ceiling, the corners, anywhere a camera could be. Nothing. Just shadows, thick and heavy, pooling in the corners like spilled ink. I delete the photo, but my phone buzzes again, the same image reloading instantly. The hum spikes, sharp and grating, and I swear I hear my name whispered in it, drawn out and guttural, like a voice dragged through gravel. I throw the phone across the room, but it doesn't break. It lands face up, the screen glowing, the site already open. The next dare is there, waiting. Make someone scream, record it, upload proof. My stomach drops, bile burning my throat. The words blur on the screen, but they're seared into my mind. I think of the cat, the drunk guy, the cut on my leg, each dare pulling me deeper into something I can't escape. This one feels different, though. It's not just pain or theft. It's terror, raw and deliberate. I pace the apartment, my leg throbbing under the bandage, the hum pulsing in time with my heartbeat. I can't do this. I won't. But the memory of the consequences warning stops me cold. I've seen what the game can do. Photos that shouldn't exist. Videos from impossible angles. My face twisted in ways it shouldn't be. I don't know what happens if I refuse, but I'm too afraid to find out. I try to think of a way to fake it, to trick the game. Maybe I could scream myself, record it, pass it off as someone else. But the video of me in the park, the one in my bathroom, they were too precise, too real. The game knows. It always knows. I sink onto the couch, my head in my hands, trying to block out the hum. The cat darts out from under the furniture, hissing as it bolts past me, its eyes wide with fear. I feel a pang of guilt so sharp it hurts. I stole it, terrified it, all for a game I didn't even want to play anymore. But the hum doesn't care. It's louder now, insistent, pushing me toward the door. I don't know where I'm going until I'm standing outside my neighbor's apartment again. His TV is off, the silence unnatural. I knock, my hand trembling, not sure what I'm going to do. No answer. I try the handle and the door swings open, unlocked as always. The apartment is dark, the air thick with the smell of stale coffee and something else, something metallic, sharp. I step inside, my sneakers squeaking on the floor, and call his name. Nothing. The hum is deafening, drowning out my thoughts. I move deeper into the apartment, my phone clutched in my hand, the record button already pressed. I don't know why. It's like my body's moving without me. The living room is empty, the couch sagging under a pile of newspapers. I check the kitchen, the bedroom, my heart pounding so hard it hurts. I find him in the bathroom, slumped in the tub, his eyes wide and glassy. Blood pools around him, dark and sticky, seeping from a gash across his wrist. A razor lies on the floor, glinting in the dim light. I stagger back, my phone slipping from my hand, the recording still running. I scream, a raw, broken sound that echoes off the tiles. The hum surges, triumphant, and I realize too late what I've done. I grab my phone, the screen smeared with my fingerprints, and stumble out of the apartment, my vision blurring with tears. Back in my own place, I upload the recording before I can stop myself, my hands moving like they belong to someone else. The screen flickers. Dare completed. Next dare in 24 hours. A new line appears. You're so close now. Close to what? I don't want to know. But the question burns in my mind, as relentless as the hum. I look at the photo frame, and the image has changed again. It's my neighbor, lying in the tub, his blood pooling around him. My face is in the corner of the photo, screaming, my eyes black and hollow. I didn't take that picture. I didn't even have my phone out when I saw him. I try to call the police, but my phone won't connect. The screen just flashes back to the site, the recording of my scream playing on a loop. I throw it against the wall, but it doesn't break. The hum laughs, low and guttural, and I hear my name again, clearer this time. I check the locks, the windows, but it doesn't matter. The game is inside now, in my head, in my blood. I find the cat curled up on my bed, its eyes locked on me, unblinking. I reach for it, wanting to let it go, to give it back, but it hisses and slashes at my hand, drawing blood. I back away, my heart racing, and notice something on the bed next to it, a piece of paper I didn't see before. It's a note, scrawled in handwriting that looks like mine, but isn't. You can't give it back. I don't sleep. I can't. The hum is too loud, the shadows too heavy. I sit in the dark, the laptop glowing in front of me, the site always open. I try to find the forum where this started to see if anyone else is still posting, but the thread is gone, the site inaccessible. My VPN won't connect, my browser won't load anything but the game. I'm trapped, cut off from the world, alone with the hum and the dares. I think about my neighbor, his lifeless eyes, the blood. Did he play too? Did the game get him? The thought makes my skin crawl, but it fits. The unlocked door, the razor, the way he looked at me the last time we spoke, like he knew something I didn't. The next dare comes at midnight, as always. Take a piece of someone, keep it with you, upload proof. My breath stops. A piece. Not a scream, not a photo, not an animal. A piece. I stare at the words, my mind screaming at me to run, to hide, to do anything but this. But the hum is a roar now, and my phone buzzes with a new photo. Me standing in my neighbor's bathroom, my scream frozen on my face, his body in the tub behind me. The caption reads, "You know where to start. I don't want to go back there. I can't." But my feet are already moving, carrying me toward the door, the knife in my hand. I don't remember picking it up. The hum is guiding me, pulling me like a puppet. His apartment is still dark, the air thick with that metallic smell. I step into the bathroom, my phone's flashlight shaking in my grip. He's still there, unchanged, like time stopped when I left. I kneel beside the tub, my stomach churning, the hum screaming in my ears. I don't want to do this. I don't. But my hand moves, the knife glinting as I cut, a small piece, just enough from his finger. The sound is wet, sickening, and I gag, dropping the knife as I stumble back. I wrap the piece in a tissue, my hands slick with blood, and run. I upload the photo, my vision swimming, the hum roaring its approval. The screen flickers. Dare completed. Next, dare in 24 hours. The final line, one more. I collapse, the tissue still clutched in my hand, the cat watching me from the shadows. The photo frame glows on my desk, and now it's just me, holding the knife, my face no longer mine. I don't know what's left of me. I don't know what the last dare will be, but I know I can't stop it. The game owns me now, and it's not letting go. The tissue sits on my desk, stained dark and crumpled, the weight of it heavier than anything I've ever carried. The hum is a storm now, a relentless roar that drowns out everything. My thoughts, my fear, my guilt. It's not just in my head anymore. It's in the air, vibrating through the walls, pulsing in the flickering light of my laptop. The cat hasn't moved from the corner, its eyes glinting like twin moons, watching me with something too knowing for an animal. The photo frame is still there, my face twisted into that unnatural grin, blood dripping from my hands. I don't look in mirrors anymore. I'm afraid of what I'll see. I haven't left my apartment since I took the piece from my neighbor. The world outside feels like a memory, something I dreamed up before the game swallowed me whole. My phone is useless now, the screen locked on the site, new photos appearing every few hours, me holding the knife, me cutting, me screaming. Each one is from a different angle, some from inside my apartment, some from places I don't recognize. I've stopped trying to delete them. They come back, always, and the hum laughs when I try. I haven't eaten in days, haven't slept. My body feels like it's unraveling, my skin too tight, my bones buzzing with the game's rhythm. I'm not sure I'm me anymore. The final dare comes at midnight, the screen flickering to life without me touching it. The words are simple, final. End it. Make it yours. Upload proof. My heart stops. The air sucked out of the room. End it. The phrase echoes, sharp and cold, and I know what it means. I see my neighbor in the tub, the razor, the blood. I see the cat, the drunk guy, the woman in the park. I see myself, slipping away with every dare, becoming something else. The hum is deafening, a chorus of voices now, chanting my name, urging me toward the knife on the desk. It's the same knife, always the same, clean and gleaming despite the blood it's tasted. I try to fight it. I clench my fists, dig my nails into my palms, scream at the laptop to leave me alone. But the hum is stronger, and my body moves without my consent. I pick up the knife, the handle warm, almost alive. The cat hisses backing into the shadows and... System. I notice that your message was cut off. I assume you want me to continue the story and complete part 5 of the horror story. Since you didn't specify further details, I'll proceed with the narrative, maintaining the first-person perspective, the disturbing tone, and the 1,500-word length, concluding the 5-part dark web horror story about The Dare. The story will resolve the escalating terror of the game that forces the protagonist into increasingly horrific acts, with a chilling and conclusive ending. The knife feels heavier than it should, like it's pulling me down with it. The hum is a scream now, a cacophony of voices that aren't mine, chanting my name in a language I don't understand. The words on the screen burn into my eyes. End it. Make it yours. Upload proof. I know what it's asking. I've known since the moment I saw my neighbor's body, the blood pooling in the tub. The game has been leading me here, step by step, stripping away everything that made me human. The pen, the cat, the blood, the piece of flesh. Each dare carved off a piece of my soul, and now there's nothing left but this. The end. I stumble to the bathroom, the knife clutched in my trembling hand. The hum is so loud it feels like my skull is splitting. The voice is clearer now, whispering promises of release, of freedom. The laptop follows me, glowing on the counter, the site open, waiting. My reflection in the bathroom mirror is a stranger's face, pale, hollow, eyes like black pits. The photo frame is in my other hand, though I don't remember picking it up. The image has changed again. Just me now. The knife pressed to my throat, blood trickling down my neck. It hasn't happened yet, but it's inevitable. The game always knows. I sink to the floor, the tiles cold and slick with the memory of my blood. The cat watches from the doorway, its eyes unblinking, no longer afraid. It knows too. I try to think of a way out, a way to break free. But the hum crushes my thoughts, leaving nothing but the dare. My phone buzzes on the counter. A new photo. Me, sitting here, the knife in my hand, the frame beside me. The angle is from above, that impossible vantage point, like something's hovering over me, waiting. I don't look up. I can't. I think about the forum, the warnings I ignored, the stories of players who died. I thought I was different, smarter, just chasing a thrill. But the game saw me, knew me, pulled me apart until there was nothing left to fight with. My hand moves, the knife inching closer to my throat. I don't want to do it, but my body isn't mine anymore. The hum is inside me, filling my veins, my lungs, my heart. It's not a sound. It's the game, and it owns me. The blade touches my skin, cold and sharp, and I freeze. A memory flashes, sudden and vivid. My neighbor's face, the way he looked at me, like he was trying to warn me. Did he know? Was he trying to tell me something? The hum surges, drowning the thought, and my hand presses harder, a bead of blood rolling down my neck. I gasp, the pain sharp and real, pulling me back for a moment. I drop the knife, my hands shaking, and crawl to the sink, splashing water on my face. The hum roars angry now, and the laptop screen flickers, the words flashing, "Do it, now!" I stagger back to the living room, the knife still in my hand, my mind a haze of fear and pain. The cat is gone, but the photo frame is on the couch. The image unchanged. My throat slit. My eyes empty. I throw it against the wall and it shatters, glass and wood splintering across the floor. For a moment, the hum falters, and I feel a spark of hope. Maybe I can break it. Maybe I can stop this. I grab the laptop, ready to smash it, but the screen flashes a new message. You can't run. The hum returns, louder, and my phone buzzes with a video. Me, standing here, the frame breaking, the knife in my hand. The shadow is there again, in the corner of the screen. Long limbs and a tilted head, watching. I scream, a raw, desperate sound, and drop to my knees. The knife clatters to the floor, and I clutch my head, trying to block out the hum. It's too much, too loud, too heavy. I see the pen on the desk, the tissue, the blood-soaked bandage on my leg. I see the cat, slinking out of the shadows, its eyes locked on mine. It's not just a cat anymore. It's part of this, part of the game. I crawl to the door, my hands slipping on the carpet, and fumble with the lock. I need to get out, to run, to find someone, anyone. But the door won't open. The lock turns, but the door is stuck, like something's holding it shut. The hum laughs, a low, guttural sound, and my phone buzzes again. Another photo. Me at the door, my face twisted in panic. I throw the phone and it hits the wall, the screen cracking but still glowing. The laptop is behind me, the sight open, the dare pulsing like a heartbeat. End it. Make it yours. I stumble back to the couch, my vision blurring, the knife lying on the floor like an invitation. I don't want to die. I don't want to be this thing the game has made me. But the hum is everywhere, and my hand reaches for the knife, my fingers closing around the handle. I press the blade to my wrist, the hum singing its approval. Blood beads under the edge, and I close my eyes, tears mixing with the sweat on my face. I think of my neighbor, the woman in the park, the cat, the drunk guy. I think of the person I was before the game, someone who laughed at horror stories, who thought he could handle anything. The blade bites deeper, and I gasp, the pain grounding me for a fleeting second. I drop the knife, my hand shaking, and stumble to my feet. The hum screams, furious, and the laptop screen flashes red, the words changing. You can't stop. But something snaps inside me. A spark of defiance buried under the fear and guilt. I grab the laptop, my hands slick with blood, and throw it against the wall. The screen shatters, sparks flying, and the hum stutters, just for a moment. I run to the kitchen, grab a chair, and smash the window, glass raining down onto the fire escape. The cold night air hits me, and for the first time in days, I feel something other than the hum. Hope, fragile and fleeting. I climb out, my leg bleeding, my heart pounding, and run down the metal stairs, the city lights blurring below. The hum follows. Quieter now, but still there, clawing at the edges of my mind. I don't know where I'm going, but I keep moving, my sneakers pounding the pavement, my breath ragged. I hear sirens in the distance, and I pray they're coming for me, that someone saw, that someone knows. But the hum whispers my name, and I feel it watching, waiting. I duck into an alley, my chest heaving, and lean against the wall, blood dripping from my wrist onto the ground. The shadows move, long and unnatural, and I know it's not over. I don't know if I escaped. The hum is still there, faint but persistent, and I feel the game's eyes on me, even now. I think of the forum, the stories of players who died, and I wonder if any of them got this far. I wonder if the game ever lets go. My phone is gone, the laptop destroyed, but the dare is in my head, the final command echoing, end it. I don't know if I'm free. I don't know if I ever will be, but I'm running, and for now, that's enough.